So as well as funding individual research projects in a very wide range of subject areas, the funding from the Medical Research Foundation has allowed us to provide interdisciplinary and cross-disciplinary training to our PhD students. This has allowed them to learn the languages of each other's research disciplines, to talk in a broader sense, to communicate around infectious diseases and AMR, and this has led to their future career development opportunities being much broader, and we're already seeing that as the students graduate from their PhDs and move on to the life of work in policy, in academia, in industry, and in other areas where they're going to use their scientific literacy, their interdisciplinarity, and their knowledge of the subject area, all thanks to this PhD training program.
My name is Ciaccio. I'm a PhD student at the University of Dundee, and what my research is doing is looking at the impact of COVID-19 on trends in healthcare use and antibiotic prescribing from right before the pandemic all the way through to about 2022, and trying to find any significant changes in the patterns or trends of use and antibiotic prescribing. And then identifying these times and looking downstream to see what changes are we seeing in antibiotic resistance in E. coli, both in number and the rates of resistance that we're seeing.
I'm Cara Patel. I'm from the University of Exeter, and my research is on climate change and antimicrobial resistance, or AMR. There's a cycle in the environment where we release a lot of pollutants, we release a lot of antimicrobials, or there's resistant bugs. We then become exposed to them and we can develop nasty infections that are very, very hard to treat. And so I'm looking at, will climate change make that cycle worse?
So my name's Becky McCall, and I'm a part-time PhD student at UCL. I am trying to use something called digital storytelling to relate personal stories, authentic personal stories told by the person who's experienced a resistant infection. So it's making the problem of AMR much more real, much more relevant, and also to resonate with people. There are lots of messages out there, lots of statistics, which are very good and we need, but we also need to make it real to people.
What about your research do you find the most exciting?
Making the stories and working with patients.
I think the most exciting part of my research would be kind of the wide variety of data that has become available, especially during the COVID pandemic. A lot of new data has become available that was really interesting to get to look at.
I am a complete nerd, and actually highly repetitive lab work is my personal favourite thing about my research. I love being told, okay, here's a method and you've got 1,000 samples to work through this method for. I'm like, yep, this is my favourite part because I'm weird.
Could you use 3 words to describe your research?
COVID changes on AMR. I think that's the best.
Exciting.
I mean, I could go with AMR climate change.
Yeah,
there we go.
I'm not allowed 4, am I? I was going to say frustrating and satisfying. So let's just go for satisfying.
Amazing.